This tutorial is about electric force, Coulomb's law, and principle of superposition. In the previous tutorial, we discussed about electrostatic charge and its properties. Now, we know that there are two kinds of charges, namely positive charge and negative charges. We also know that a bunch of positive charges repel with an enormous force, and same thing happens if we put together a bunch of negative charges. Now, again, if we put together positive and negative charges, they would be pulled together by a force of attraction. Now, if there are equal number of positive and negative charges in a mixture, then the force would balance out and there would be no attraction or repulsion at all. So such a force that charges exert on each other is known as electrical force. And all the matter is a mixture of positive protons and negative electrons which attract and repel each other with this electrostatic force. We will now discuss about Coulomb's law. Now, Coulomb's law is the law of forces between electric charges. Yes, consider that you have two charges, say Q1 and Q2, that are kept at a distance r from each other. Now these charges Q1 and Q2 exerts a force F on each other, which according to Coulomb's law is directly proportional to the product of charges Q1 and Q2 and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. Or F is equals to K Q1 Q2 upon R square, where K is the proportionality constant. Now here this force F is the magnitude of force acting on two stationary charges, that is Q1 and Q2, and K is some proportionality constant whose numerical value is equals to 9 into 10 to the power 9. But for convenience, we usually put K is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, where this epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space, and value of epsilon naught in SI unit is equals to 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square. Now, Coulomb's law can thus be written as F is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square. Let us label this equation as equation number 1. Now, here you should note one point, that the value of constant K depends on the choice of units of F, which is force, R, that is distance between two charges, and charges Q, and also on the nature of the medium in which the charges are situated. from this equation 1, we see that Coulomb's law for electrostatic force is analogous to inverse square law force of gravitation. That is Coulomb's law is analogous to gravitational force of attraction. Now, but this gravitational force is always a force of attraction, but this Coulomb's law, or we can say electrostatic force, is both attractive as well as repulsive. Now this equation 1, which is F is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square, only gives the magnitude of electric force, and it does not tell us anything about the direction of action of force. Now, to write the Coulomb's law in vector notation, we first consider charges Q1 and Q2 have position vectors R1 and R2 with respect to this origin O. Now, let F12 be the force on charge Q1 due to Q2 and F21 be the force on charge Q2 due to Q1. Now let us denote vector leading from charge Q1 to Q2 as R21, so that this R21 is equals to R2 minus R1. Now similarly, vector leading from charge Q2 to Q1 is R12, that is equals to R1 minus R2 and is equals to minus R21. Now from this we can see that vector R12 and R21 have same magnitude but they point in opposite direction. We can now write the Coulomb's force between 2 point charges located at position vectors R1 and R2 as F21 is equals to K Q1 Q2 upon R21 square into R21, where this R21 is equals to R21 upon mod R21, and this R21 cap is the unit vector that denote the direction from charge Q1 to Q2. Similarly, we can write the force on charge Q1 due to charge Q2, and that is F12 is equals to minus F21, which is equals to K Q1 Q2 upon R12 whole square into R12, where this R12 is equals to now both these equations, say this is equation 2 and this is equation 3. So both these equation 2 and 3 are valid for any signs of Q1 and Q2. Means the charge Q1 and Q2 can either be positive or negative. Now we can make these equation 2 and 3 look simpler. For this, we imagine that the first charge, that is say charge Q1, is placed at origin O, so that R1 is now equals to 0, and we write R2 is equals to R as a position vector of charge Q2. Then the Coulomb's force can now be written as F21 is equals to K Q1 Q2 upon R square R21 cap, where this R21 is unit vector and is given as R21 upon, and this R21 is directed from Q1 to Q2, and similarly we can write F12 as K Q1 Q2 upon R square R12, where this R12 is given as equals to R12 R, and this R12 is directed from Q2 to Q1. Now Coulomb's law, as given in equation 2 and 3, gives the force between two charges in vacuum. But the situation becomes more complicated or different if these charges are placed in material medium. Now when more than two charges are present in a system, then Coulomb's law holds for each and every pair of charges. So net force acting on any one of the charge in the system is equal to the vector sum of the force exerted on it by all other charges, and this is known as principle of superposition as applied to electrostatic forces. Now to explain this, consider a system consists of n number of charges, say Q1, Q2 up to Qn. Now, the total force on charge Q1 according to this principle of superposition would be F1 is equals to F12 plus F13 plus and so on, where this F12 is force on Q1 due to Q2, this F13 is force on Q1 due to charge Q3 and so on. And all these forces F12, F13 can be calculated using Coulomb's law. Now one important thing here to note is that this principle makes use of the fact that the forces with which two charges attract or repel one another are not affected by the presence of other charges. For more information on the subject, visit physicscatalyst.com.